We believe in manufacturing.
In 2005, there was a celebration in Janesville as the General Motors plant rolled out its 16 millionth vehicle. A special auto show of Janesville-made cars included the first one made here, a 1923 Chevrolet, and samples of other models over the years. The history of Janesville's biggest employer is rooted deeply in its agricultural past. At the Rock River Thresherie, held each year north of Janesville, visitors can view the vintage tractors and other machinery that once revolutionized farm life. General Motors was first drawn to the area because of the Janesville Machine Company, a farm implement maker and the city's largest manufacturer.
Well, Janesville Machine Company starts out in the late 1850s manufacturing reaping and grain harvesting equipment. Janesville gets into building tillage equipment, planters, plows, discs. In plow competitions at that time, Janesville usually did very well. It was really a quality line of equipment.
Billy Durant, who had created General Motors by buying up smaller car companies, was again on a buying spree. During World War I, he decided to get into the tractor business to compete with his rival, Henry Ford, who had great success supplying tractors to Britain.
World War I has really shut down a lot of production of civilian goods. Steel is allocated towards weapons. You have to build the battleships, the destroyers, the ships to keep feeding Britain. The car business isn't so good, but Britain is starving. Tractors are something you can have all the steel you want for. In 1917, 1916, the tractor market exploded as you got these small tractors that most farmers could afford. The technology finally got to the point where it was worthwhile to build them. So what happens in that time frame is that you get hundreds and hundreds of companies getting into the tractor business. You have everybody from some inventors in the garage up to General Motors, Ford Motor Company, Alice Chalmers. It was really a boom market.
Durant purchased the Samson Tractor Company in California for GM and was looking for an implement maker to go with it. Joseph A. Craig, president of the Janesville Machine Company, found out that Durant also wanted to move the tractor plant to a Midwestern location.
Craig had risen through the ranks at the Janesville Machine Company from being an outstanding salesman to president of the company. Craig somehow became acquainted with Durant, and it is my understanding that Craig persuaded him that Janesville would be an ideal location. It had railroads, it had the Janesville Machine Company, it had a well-trained workforce, and Durant built a new plant for the production of the Samson Tractor Company and went into business.
He has some General Motors engineers design the Samson Type M here. It's a state-of-the-art tractor for the time, maybe even a little bit better. It's got a generator, it's got a starter, which for that time were pretty novel stuff for a tractor company. That way, you could start the tractor easier. You didn't break your arm cranking the tractor, which was actually a danger. It's actually a pretty good quality tractor.
Samson also made a truck and a smaller tractor called the Iron Horse.
What Samson does is a little bit different though. They decide to go with a four-wheel drive tractor. They make it a rein drive with the reins being held by the hand. With the rein drive tractors, if you just let them loose, your tractor would go forward. You could pull back one to go in that direction. You could pull back harder, the whole thing would spin in place. If you pulled back both reins at once, the tractor would reverse. It was really a fast control system. It also worked well with horse-drawn implements. because you could sit back in a horse-drawn implement and just have those nice long reins, just like you did with horses.
Just as Samson was struggling to establish its position in the tractor market, World War I ended. What followed was a post-war depression.
Farm prices crash hard. The tractor industry becomes a bloodbath. Nobody was buying. You have those hundreds of companies that got into the business in 1916, 17, 18. Now they're going bankrupt and getting back out of the business. General Motors is losing so much money. So that's why Samson gets basically liquidated. The plant in Janesville was a modern plant. It was very well built by J.P. Cullen out of Janesville. A local company built it. In 1923, as Samson is going out of business, the car industry starts picking up business. You get the Roaring 20s rolling. So General Motors took that nice new plant and started building Chevrolet cars and trucks in it. And they've kept on, of course, ever since.